Hi guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today we're going to be playing with the 3D Poinsettia Surprise Envelope die from Spellbinders. This is the die of the month Amazing Paper Grace for October 2022. So I've gone ahead and cut out a bunch of pieces. Now my initial thought was that I wanted to do Halloween because I haven't done enough Halloween. I could not find what I was looking for. I wanted to do some black poinsettias. Well, I couldn't find my black glitter plate paper, so I cut a bunch of them out of some blue. I also cut out the bits to make our little box. This piece is the side panel. No. This is basically a couple of inserts for the inside. This is our back and front, and then the side panel, and then we've got our decorative pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble all of this bit together. I've got this real pretty piece that is done in some silver glitter cardstock, and then of course that silver mirror that I absolutely love. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble these real quick. So we're going to start off with the envelope piece. You cut out two of these. One is going to be for the back and one is going to be for the front, but we don't really need this extra bit here. This has all got perforated lines also that the die did, not regular embossed lines, so you can just rip it off. I'm probably going to trim it up with my scissors too, but let's see how easy it is to trim this one off when you're doing cardstock. And look, the perforation works perfectly. Now, depending on how the cover plate that I'm going to put on there looks, actually, I know that this piece is going to be smaller because the way it lies in the die, we're going to have a little white mat around the edges. I am going to use some scissors to trim up that little bit just so it doesn't have that kind of, it doesn't look like it's perforated. You know what I mean? And I'm only trimming a little bit off, just enough to get rid of that perforation. And it's not really something that's required, but I just wanted it to look a little bit cleaner. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and fold on each of these perforated lines. So now we've got at the front. We're going to do the same thing with the back, but we're going to leave this part up straight. And we're going to fold this one. Since this is going to go this way, we need to fold these forward. And then I'm going to take my liquid adhesive because I like the way that it holds on long-term better. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue first to this piece here. And then I'm going to line this right up with that edge. Actually, I did that backwards. Okay, so I can still use, well, I think I can still use that. I just need to fold this one the opposite direction. Okay, because I want the rounded edge. You see the rounded edge here? The one that's got the corner rounders. I want that to line up over there. So let's try that again. And no, this is not really as difficult as I'm making it seem. Okay, just lining that up with the bottom of my envelope there and with the edge here. Okay, so now that is holding pretty good. But before I adhere them down, because this is going to go like this, it's going to be perfect, right? Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and adhere these pieces in. Now what this is going to do is going to give me a couple little tiers so that we can add different things on the inside. Not 100% sure what all I'm going to add, but it does give me that opportunity. So I'm going to start off with putting a little bit of adhesive on this end. Okay? So we've got this little flap there, right? And then I'm going to line that up right with the edge of my card. This is going to be basically right on the fold there, right on the fold. And for this one, I think I'm going to have it about here. Just thinking. I think I'm going to have it right about in the middle. I think that will work. And fold it down flat. And then just double checking, making sure that it is where I think it's going to be. And it is right up against that edge. Okay, perfect. So this next one, I can do the same kind of thing. Folding those edges in, folding in those little tabs. And then this one, I'm going to have a little bit higher and still have it in kind of in the back. Okay, So that's going to give us a little bit of, it's going to basically make it so we have, because you could do this as many times as you want, I think. This, I think, is going to fit. You could put a third one in there. I'm just going to stick with just the two. So add a little adhesive here. And yes, you guys see me testing it every time I'm thinking about doing something, right? And now I'm going to line this one up so it's right in front of the first. And it's going to be a little bit higher, so it's going to be kind of in the middle of those two. Okay? And since it's lined up pretty much straight with that line, we should be fine. Yes, they look like they are pretty much parallel to the top and bottom of the box. So that is good. Now I'm going to add some adhesive to the first one on this end. And fold that over. So we've got it right there, right? And just fold this piece in, and that's going to pick it up. Once it holds, right? Let's put a little bit more glue down on that. Okay, hold it for a minute so that it can grab that. So now we've got our first little piece there. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Add some adhesive right to the back of this one. Open it up. Position it pretty much right in front of where the other one was. And then I can still fold it flat again. So now we've got two tiers. The one in the back is a little lower than the one in the front. And now I can do the same thing with the front. I'll just add some adhesive down here. And then fold that shut. So now we've got our little box with a couple little tiers in there. You could make them all the same height. It's entirely up to you. And I just chose to put them in there kind of because I'm experimenting a little like I normally do. Next, we're going to start decorating the box. Now, to do that, I've already put some double-sided adhesive on the back of my silver cardstock because you know what? The silver mirror cardstock doesn't always want to stick to regular cardstock, right? But for this, I'm going to use just regular liquid glue for the decorative pieces. Just going to have them sit and dry for a little bit first. And I'm just putting this around the edges, so I don't get too much excess glue on that pretty silver mirror cardstock. I could, of course, change my mind later, but right now that's my plan. And the outside edge of this is going to line up perfectly with the outside edge of our mirror cardstock because it was using the same dies. Okay, lay that down and then grab my weight and let that dry a little bit while I do this other panel. This other panel is, of course, for the front, for this bigger piece. Doing the same thing, and run some liquid adhesive all around the edge. And I think I'm going to put a couple of dots of liquid glue around the inside too, because this is a bigger piece. Okay, now I'm going to just add my mirror cardstock over the top. On this panel, there's two that are sharp right edges and the other two are rounded. So you're going to want to make sure you line up the rounded end with the rounded end of your cover plate. There we go. And I'll put my weight down on that one. This one is ready to add to the card. And this one goes right up here. That's going to be so pretty. So let me go ahead and take off this double-sided adhesive tape. Take off the release paper. And I'm being careful because I don't really want to mar up any of the metal. I don't know how much it's going to transfer to the front, but I am being a little extra cautious because I love the mirror cardstock. I don't play with it nearly often enough, but to me, it looks like metal, it bends like metal, it shines like metal. It is just absolutely gorgeous. So let's go ahead and put this one in place on the flap of the envelope. Okay, so that part is, it's already looking gorgeous. Okay, doing the same thing on this one. I've got some double-sided adhesive on here, so I just need to remove the release paper. Okay, and then I'm going to press that down in place on the front, trying to center it and give a little bit of that space around the edge. And that is absolutely gorgeous. To me, it looks kind of like one of those mailboxes that you might have hung on the front of your house so that people could put mail in. But I think that is just lovely. So next I am assembling my little poinsettias. Now there are 3 different dies, so there's 3 different size poinsettias. And yes, I know they are in blue, but that is kind of what I was in the mood for. Actually, what I wanted was black because that would have been awesome for a Halloween card. I was thinking red and black, but you know what? I could not find my black glitter cardstock, so I'm gonna go with a different color, and I think blue and silver looks super nice. So basically I'm just putting a little bit of glue right there in the center, and then I'm placing it over the top of a second of the same size and just offsetting the little leaves. And then we've got this little 6-leaf cluster there, and I think those turned out really pretty. I am doing that with liquid glue because glitter cardstock does not really like to adhere with pretty much anything else, so I'm using that. Decided to add some little centers to my flowers, and this is another one of the dies in the set. It's this one. There's 3 of them, so I cut out 10 because I have 10 blue poinsettia flowers. I cut these out of some of that silver glitter cardstock. I'm just putting them down in the center with some art glitter glue and giving them a chance to dry because that's what it takes with glitter. I don't do it a whole lot, but oh my god, it just looks so pretty when you do. So I think I'm probably going to need to get some more glitter cardstock, especially some black because I can't find my black cardstock, right? Okay, so now that we've got all of the flowers there, I can start figuring out how I want them to go on this card. Okay, so we can, if we want, have them coming up out of the inside and attached to that piece there. And I think if I want to do that, I need something to back them. So I think what I'm going to do, let me cut a piece of scrap. This was a piece of that box that didn't quite work out the way I wanted. I'm just going to cut off a little strip of this. And I think I'm going to add it on with just some temporary adhesive, just so that I can kind of get an idea where it would be, and then I can start adding some flowers on. So I'm just putting a little piece of removable adhesive from Tombow and have it kind of pop up. I think I want it attached to the one in the back. Okay. And then I can add these so that it hides part of it and maybe have them attached to each other. And I want this one to be a little bit high up. Now here's the thing, this is going to fit into a regular A2 size envelope. So here's an envelope. And when it's laying down flat, at least I thought it was going to fit into an A2 size envelope. It looks like it's not going to. That is super fine too. If I were to fold the flap down, it would. I'm not going to worry about it. I think this is more of a decorative piece for me, or I'll just have to put it in a 5x7 envelope, right? So if it's a 5x7, yes, it'll fit 5 because 5x7 envelope is a little bit bigger. And then on the 7 side, this is actually about 6 inches tall. So as long as it doesn't go too much above there, it'll fit into a 5x7. I think I want to start with that one up here at the top. And I'm going to trim off any of that white that shows that I don't want to show. Okay, so there's my top flower. And I think I'm going to add this one. Yeah, that will work. Add a little bit to one of the petals here. And then I can have it attached with that petal. Just right about there. And then I've got a little one that I think I'm going to have off to the side there and just attached with basically it's going to be attached to all of the others. So I'll put that down with some liquid adhesive as well. Making sure to keep the adhesive side on the side that's not hanging off. Okay. So that's my first little tier. I'm going to let everything dry before I take anything off of there. And I may actually add some gems or something to the center of that too. Now let's go ahead and take another strip. And do the same kind of thing. And then once everything is kind of where I want it, I'll trim off that excess and adhere it down with some permanent adhesive. Okay, so since that one is there, I think I want this one to go off to the side a little bit. I'll have it at an angle, so I'll put it right about there. Don't think it needs to go any further than that. Okay, that looks pretty good. And yes, I am making this up as I go along. Put a little bit of adhesive down here and then attach one of my flowers there. That'll look cute. Add some adhesive to the leaves here. And I think I want another one of my medium size. Do I have another medium size? I've got a couple of big ones. I've actually got two large. This one has pretty much all three are the smaller ones. Yeah, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to put a small one here. We've got two mediums and a small, so I'm going to put a small one on this one last. And I think 3 at a time looks pretty nice anyway. Okay, so that is lots and lots of shimmer. Yes, love it, love it, love it. And then we can add these guys to the front. And then I've also got this pretty piece here. So I think what I'm going to do, just looking again to see what I've got. This one, I think I'm going to have go about like this way. Have one of my flowers a little bit tucked under. And then have these others on top. Think that will look nice. So I'll put first down this one. And I'm not going to add any kind of foam tape or anything for additional dimension because you know what? We really don't need it. We've got a lot of dimension with this kind of a card since it has all of that pop-up. So put this one down here. Okay. And then I'll put my little swag. Kind of across the front and kind of hanging out the top. So I need to have adhesive down on the lower sections, but not the top section. Okay. There we go. And then I'll go ahead and add these final 3 flowers. Okay, so let me go ahead and take off this first piece because it did have that double-sided adhesive. I'm going to rub that double-sided adhesive off, or rather temporary adhesive, rub that off. And I'm going to trim this up a little bit because I don't really want to have this bit of white up at the top. And I think I'm going to trim it a little bit on this part too, but not a lot. Okay, because it's not really going to be seen that much, but I didn't want it to be seen as much. Let's see if I can get this last little bit off. Okay, that works perfect. Another option would be to use acetate instead of white cardstock. So now I'm going to add some liquid adhesive down here at the bottom. And then position this in where I think it's going to look nice. Kind of hanging off to the side. There we go. I think I do want to have it just a little bit in though. Because I don't want the tip to be off the edge too much depending on what size envelope I'm able to get it to stick into. Let me add some adhesive down again and try that one more time. Art glitter glue does give you a little bit of time to pretty much gives you a little bit of wiggle room time, right guys? So just in case, I think I want it lower though. Let's put it down a little bit lower. And I'm going to use the grid of my medium mat to kind of tell me where it goes. Okay, so that I think is pretty. I'm going to do the same kind of thing with this one. Let's rub off that adhesive and trim off this excess up here at the top. So we don't have any white showing above this little wand. And now I can add some liquid adhesive on the front of the bottom. And then I can put this in place. And that looks pretty nice. So that is going to finish up this card. This turned out super pretty. It's not exactly what I had envisioned to begin with. I actually was thinking of black black poinsettias tumbling off the side, but it turned out super gorgeous. And blue and silver are great Christmas colors, so this will make a fantastic Christmas card. There are a couple of sentiments, and I would need to decide which one I want to use and what kind of paper. So I still have to decide on that, but I think this turned out super cute. You guys have a wonderful day. Check out this playlist to see some more videos where I'm making things with Spellbinders products. And remember, if I can make it, you can too. Have a great day.